104. What do I need to consider when there are union contract bumping provisions?
Most collective bargaining agreements provide bumping privileges for union members. Since unionism rewards seniority equally with individual performance, these bumping rights allow more senior members to displace less tenured members of the bargaining unit. Let's say, for example, that a clerical specialist 2 position is being eliminated in a hospital's radiation oncology department. If Mary Jones is the clerical specialist 2 in radiation oncology, then Mary's position will be eliminated. However, Mary may not be the individual laid off. Instead, a clerical specialist 2 with less seniority elsewhere in the hospital may be laid off. Here's why: many collective bargaining agreements include bumping language. See Appendix Z for a sample. There are obviously a lot of clauses that need due consideration when determining which union employees should be laid off. For example, inside or outside the department, in the same or lower classification. What's important to remember, though, is to document your systematic efforts at determining which employees should be laid off whenever a position is eliminated. Tell me more. Employers attempt to retain the maximum discretion in the layoff and bumping processes by including language regarding performance, attendance, and discipline. The trouble for most companies, though, is that skills, knowledge, and abilities are not easily measured or documented. That's why it's so important, especially in a union environment, to avoid inflating performance evaluation grades and to ensure that disciplinary actions are documented. Without those written records, your company will have a difficult time relying on this kind of contract language to lay off substandard performers and to retain the best talent. In addition, the most effective way to create a complete written record of who gets to stay and who gets bumped is to list all the names of employees in the particular classification affected, in this example, all clerical specialist TLs, in terms of seniority. The most recently hired clerical specialist 2 on the list will most likely be the one to get laid off. However, you have to remember to match apples to apples. If the person with the least seniority has specific skills that the bumping employee does not possess, or if he or she works the graveyard shift and the bumping employee doesn't want such a shift, then you shouldn't lay off the person with the least seniority. Instead, you'll scratch that person's name off the list with a note stating why he won't be the one chosen for layoff. You'll then go up the list to the next individual with the least seniority and evaluate that person for layoff. You'll continue going up the list until an individual in the particular classification is selected. If there is no individual with less seniority in that classification, then you may look at a lower classification inside or outside the department, depending on the instructions in the contract. If there still isn't an individual with less seniority, then you may lay off Mary Jones in radiation oncology. Collective bargaining agreements attempt to create a systematic process for providing tenured members with job security by displacing employees with less seniority according to a preset formula. However, it's usually not that easy, because management has the discretion to decide who is most suitable for layoff, and sometimes the union disagrees, resulting in a grievance. In any case, your best strategy is to apply the collective bargaining agreement bumping rules fairly and consistently. In all cases, be sure to document why you've selected or passed someone over for layoff. Such written records can be your best defense in fighting union grievances or rebutting unfair labor practice charges. Of course, you should discuss projected layoffs with counsel before implementing them. And by all means make sure that the affected employees' personnel files are in order, as they are often subpoenaed.